due to rising oil prices, as you can see, if you're out here driving or if you don't own a Tesla yet, which I don't, we're at the pump and we're seeing rising oil prices. So these are 7 stocks that you can trade to capitalize off the rising oil prices. The first one is going to be CVX Chevron Corp. As you can see in the last 3 months, really in the last month, it has really took off because of these rising oil prices. Investors are moving over into energy in order to capitalize off the rising oil prices. If we look at option prices for Chevron, their implied volatility is at 23.8%. Historical volatility is 8.6. And let's look at the put and call ratios. As you can see, a lot of call volume is being bought. So they expect this stock to continue to rise because of the oil prices. And just a brief summary of the financial, they had a downturn last year because, of COVID and people stopped traveling. People are going to be traveling more and it's going to pick back up. So you're going to see their revenues continue to climb, will climb during this rise in oil prices. So Chevron, they've been around for a while. Pretty big company. Right now is down today 1.2%, but I am going to trade this, start buying calls, and that's the first one on my list. The second one is Exxon. Everybody, I'm sure you've heard of Exxon, and look, it's also in the last 3 months has risen up. And let's look at some of the option prices. Option prices, pretty cheap too. Implied volatility, this is near the money. Implied volatility is 25%. Historical volatility is 24%. Put and call ratios, let's see. Again, more calls are being bought. Look at this, 1119. Look at all these this call, 5,000 calls being bought at that rate. And look at the next coming months, even into next year, is more calls being bought. So that's a sign that investors are bullish on energy. So Exxon Mobil, I do have some calls right now on it, and that's what I'm going to, as it keeps rising, I'm going to change. When I'm going to trade it. When I see some pullbacks, I may sell it, but Exxon is another one. That's ticker symbol XOM. Third one is FANG, Diamondback Energy. This is, I think it's a relatively small company compared to others. Last year, they took a big, massive hit, but they are back there quarterly. Let's look what they're doing in the quarterly. They were down then. Sales is coming back up, but as you can see, it's moving back up. So, and net income growth, it's going to be pretty good on this stock. Let's look at the option prices. Implied volatility is pretty high, so this stock can bounce up and down. So you probably want to do put credit spreads on this one. This is something I would probably do. I'm doing a put credit spread on. Let's look at the put and call ratios. Still a little bit, there's not a lot of volume here, but still a little bit more calls being bought at that week. It's not a lot of investors are selling or puts on calls on it, maybe just holding it. But it's something that you can either, trade, you can buy stocks on, or, buy a few calls on. So, in all of these lists, you need to do your own research too to make sure it fits your portfolio. And my next one is going to be Marathon Petroleum. It too has went up. As you can see, it's trending up today as another sell-off. I think energy today is just selling off. It's down by 2.35%. Let's look at the put and call ratios. Put and call ratio, still more calls being bought than puts, especially at this date of December the 17th of this year. Look at that call. Look, 1,700 calls, more than 185 puts. Looks like investors going to be bullish on this. So it's another stock, ticker symbol MPC, that you can also trade on. So, and I think I got some calls ordered for this right now. And my next 3 are just going to be ETFs that have a basket of stocks in them that you can actually trade on, and that's going to be XLE. I got some calls. I've bought them a few weeks ago, and as you can see, it's rising also. Energy prices are rising. I think this one has Exxon, Chevron, and all of them in this one stock. Let's look at put call ratios. Look at this. Well, still more calls being bought, and look at this date at 11/19. 9,800 calls, 9,815. So still more calls being bought than put. Looks like investors are still bullish on this. So this is another stock or ETF you can own or trade, or you can do covered calls. Look at the option prices. Historical volatility is pretty low. So yeah, this is something I will buy calls on or buy stock on to hold. You can also, let's look at the spreads on this. See if we can find bull call spreads. Let's go to that 17th date where we saw the 19th date where we saw all that. Look at all the profit potentials you can make here. So the max profit amount. So there's a lot of opportunity with this ETF XLE. And my next ETF is going to be VDE, similar to the one I just described. Energy ETF Vanguard, also another stock that's rising in price, as you can see. Let's look at the option prices. So implied volatility is at 30%. Let's look at put call ratios. So it's a lot. This is a low volume, so you may not be able to fill your orders on this, but it's still something that you can possibly look into by either buying the stock or trading the options. So it's not a lot of volume on this, and I love Vanguard. They're a good money manager, so I have a few ETFs with them. I own a few ETFs, and this is another one that you can either own stock in or trade options. Well, I say stock because the options look like it's not a lot of volume on those. And my next one the last one is going to be XOP, oil and gas, is that exploration or production. So it's too has one up. So let's look at option prices on this. Implied volatility is pretty high, so it's it's something I would probably do a put credit spread on. Yeah, and look at this call volume. Look at the call volume that day. So now there's more put volume over here for some reason, and more put volume in these days. So they probably expect a decline and at that time. I'm not sure, but this is something I would definitely do a put credit spread on. And if we see, let's look at, because you see there's volume there. So yeah, this is something I would do a put credit spread on. All right, that is it. And as a summary, like I say, first one, Chevron Corp, XVX, Exxon, XOM, FANG, Diamond Energy, Marathon Petroleum, MPC, XLE, S&P 500 Energy Sector, VDE, which is Vanguard Energy ETF, XOP, and that's it. So if you have any questions, please comment. Thank you.